Hope everyone's having a beautiful day. My name is EQ and welcome to the first episode of Crypto Weekly Analysis with Stonkaholics. So Crypto Weekly Analysis is going to be a tech analysis format to supplement our crypto news. We're going to be going over some charts that we think might be bearish or bullish going into the week, so we can plan accordingly and plan ahead for where we need to be moving and allocating our profits to make the most money. Before we get started, if you guys could please subscribe to the channel, like the video, do anything like that to show your support and your love, that would be tremendously appreciated. Are you guys ready to chart? Woo! So the first chart we're going to be starting with this week, the crypto market cap excluding Bitcoin. What's catching my eye right off the bat is this nice little doji and bottom wick. That is a tasty looking wick. You can also see that we found support on the RSI here. We also have support here. Might get a little pullback and get support here as well. But probably the other sign that is really healthy on the weekly is going to be here. The STO is going to be crossing over the blue on the red, hopefully. It just barely tapped the oversold area, but not anything crazy. You can see volume has been picking up, increasing during this pickup. The one thing you do want to be wary about on the weekly is this all-time high area that it has not been able to break. But considering how this is looking, I think it has a pretty decent shot of breaking, especially with this lower wick. It means the buyers are winning the battle, even if it was red. And if I take this to the 4 hour, we have been in a channel. So this is essentially where I would put my channel for the market cap. You can see it found support, broke over these EMAs, found resistance on the top, broke over a couple times, but you had a head and shoulders, which we went over a little bit in the Discord group for anyone that is in there. So 1, 2, oh, nope, not that. 3, head and shoulders right over here, and you can see it hit an all-time high and it used the top of the channel as support, which is a nice indicator that it is probably going to be a retracement. Had a nice little last resort, which pulled all the way down to the 200 EMA, which held it a little bit above the center point of the sideways channel. Then price broke up, was consolidating to hold support on the EMAs, and is now looking to hold support on the outside of this channel before it makes the push over. And what we want to see is this break at least 710 and come up and find support on top of this area. Anything over 697 realistically is going to be more of a bullish support hold, and that's a good sign that this could make an impulse move. You can see here, if I take this out, this is already pulling down. It's one of my favorite moves when the STO RSI stops around the 50 area and starts to pull back up. That's typically a strong move for me and my trading style. So definitely be on the lookout for this chart, because this is going to be able to tell you exactly what's happening around the market. Going into the DXY, you can see on a 4 hour chart it has been pretty bullish, but when you go to a weekly chart, it's actually been a relatively bearish chart. You can see all the EMAs are crossed under the 200 EMA. And I have a pretty decent feeling that this is going to find resistance here, because this STO is oversold. And this is probably, in my opinion, going to pull down back to around this area again. Let's put a little square there. It can definitely pull back down into this general area here. So that is a good sign for the crypto market as well. Anytime the dollar is going down or weakening, the crypto market will be going up, or typically goes up, vice versa. So the first one I want to highlight out of this group is going to be Elrond, mainly because the RSI found support on the 70 range. Hopefully. We still have 5 hours left, so anything can happen, but looking at how this has been moving the last couple weeks or a month or two, this looks positive. It's also been consolidating for 7 weeks now. So almost 2 months of consolidation. You can see that the STO RSI is finally pulling down to the lower end. I'm really not thinking that this is going to keep pulling down. I think at some point Elrond is going to finally make this turn and become very bullish. We have a support hold right there at 130, so price can definitely come back down and test the support again before we're breaking off. If we break this down into the 4-hour chart, you can see there's plenty of room also on the STO RSI on this chart. We're about to hit a support on this RSI chart, and even considering price going down, the volume has been relatively low, which is a great sign. We had an EMA crossover. The only one that actually went under the 200 EMA is the 20-day EMA, so that is a decent sign. It's not anything too crazy, but we want to see everything staying on top of this orange line, which is the 200-day EMA. As long as everything is on top, it is still in the bullish pattern. Based on what I see on this chart, this could potentially be an area where it can hold support, which also would hold these EMAs. And in the history, it also shows that this has been an SR flip area, so this could also hold as support. So support 1, support 2. We really just don't want to see price break down to another EMA, but it's not the worst thing in the world. But all in all, Elrond is going to be looking very bullish for the next week. So GRT is also looking very interesting right now. You can see it's a newer coin, so we still don't have the full information for the weekly charts. But from this, you can see there is a support hold right here. This is a bullish looking candle for the week. We do have 5 hours left, but this massive lower wick is a great sign. Even though we had a pullback, the volume from the pullback was less than the volume from the impulse, which is a good sign. And if we zoom out from the full impulse move and throw a fib on here, from the bottom of this move to the top, you can see price did touch the 6180 golden ratio 2 times to hold support, and they actually closed above the 50, which is also a great sign. We're looking for GRT to go off, and GRT is in a very bullish move for the next week. So the monthly chart's going to be closing in 3 days, so another video is going to be coming out. We're going to cover the monthly and see what's going to be going for the next month. But all in all, GRT is a healthy option at the moment. Keep your eye out on Theta. I saw a couple other people talking about how this is going to be booming for the next month. I don't think that's going to be happening this week, in my honest opinion. This fat top upper wick is showing signs of a retracement. For the last month, we've been on a huge incline for Theta. So I'm kind of waiting for this to come down a little bit and at least hold some sort of support. If we wanted to do it from a retracement, the 6180 is going to be around the $7 range and the 50 is going to be the $9 range. But because this move was so massive, don't be surprised if you see this drop down to a $5 range for whatever reason. I just want to put that out there for everyone because I know that a lot of people are super bullish on Theta and the mainnet and everything that's being released. But in terms of a TA, this is not the best looking sign. Hopefully in the next 5 hours this can climb up a little bit more. But I just want to make sure you guys are aware of this. Even on this one, you're getting some sort of a sideways channel in between this area. We're still in the middle of the channel, but it can push down. You can see this is showing signs of a push down, but you want to find support because you have found 1, 2, 3 points of support on the 50 RSI. Always a good sign. But the STO needs to do a little bit of work because it can pull down. So be on the lookout for a Theta this week. I wouldn't be running. Looking at the Dego chart, I'm expecting this to be a little more on the bullish side as well. You had a huge impulse move, which already had 2 weeks of retracement. This last week had a huge lower wick on it, which is a great sign. If I throw a fib on here, you can see price is already testing the 6180. And you had 2 points of support that held above that line, which is great. We're looking for Dego to start coming back up and testing these highs. If that can happen, we can see a massive move. A good sign from this last week is that the volume was low, and if you're looking at the RSI, we can hold support at the 70, which is going to be very healthy. And from the STO RSI, we're going to be dipping it back into the regular region instead of being in the oversold area, or sorry, overbought area. And looking at a volume oscillator, we crossed under into the red zone, so we do have plenty of space to come back into bullish area. And on the 4-hour chart, you can see all of these support and resistance are holding true with the fib at the moment. You can say from here to here we have a little sideways channel. Almost dipped out, did not touch the 200 EMA. Everything is still over the 200 EMA, so it's bullish. Now we just want to see Dego make some sort of moves or impulse moves, hopefully to touch the resistance at the top of this channel and come back down around this area to test the support at the higher than midpoint at the sideways channel. Then from there, I would like to see it come up, test around this area, hit a resistance, and then find a support on top of the channel, hopefully around here. And then this will be a great setting point for a impulse move. I know this one will be asked a lot about as well, the Binance Coin. This, in my opinion, is looking like it's going into the bullish. On the weekly chart, you can see a support hold. Previously was a resistance, came over, held support, broke over, held support again. So we're looking to get a bigger move this time. The STO RSI pulled down, so it has plenty of room to come back up and grow. The volume oscillator is the only thing that's showing a little more on the extreme bullish side, but it's not anything until it hits on top of this line somewhere. That's when it'll be essentially too high of a greenish volume to where it should be pulling down. Looking at a fib retracement from this one, you can see that price tested the 50 and came back up, holding support at the 38.20 fib on the retracement. This red candle really does not have that much volume, which is a good sign. So we're hoping to see a green candle that is a lot bigger, hopefully twice the size of this red candle. That's going to signify the impulse move. Breaking this down to a 4-hour chart, we can see we dipped, hit the 200 EMA. We had a crossover, which is a bullish sign, coming back down to find support and looking to push again. If it wants to push again, I'm looking for it to find a resistance around 297 to 315. When it does find that resistance, I would really like it to come back down, test 291 as a support, if not 291, 281 as a support, and then from there we can break out an impulse move. Main reason being is that we still have to break this all-time high up here in order to start any sort of really large move. But we're getting there. And the last one we'll be going over is VeChain, which is going to be very bullish for me at the moment. You can see a massive lower wick on this candle. Even though it's red, it's showing a lot of bullish pull. It looks like we're having a support around the 64 RSI. It keeps breaking over the 70, but this might hold finally as support. And you have plenty of room and a crossover on the STO RSI. This crossover signified the first impulse move, and you have a dip in the volume oscillator here, which is great. This can easily pull back up. This can easily come up to the overbought area. The only thing that is a downside of this is this massive red volume candle, so be on the lookout for this one. But I think that VeChain could definitely have a solid week going forward. And going into the 4-hour, you see that we've been on a steady climb all the way up on a trend line. And then you had your lower trend line, which it was trying to break for a while. Finally broke under, is retesting a way to get back in. Hopefully this isn't a double top, but I'm looking to see if it does hold support around this 80 cent range. If not, VeChain can definitely drop back down into the lower 80 range. The RSI is showing a support hold on the 50. Hopefully, we already had a support hold. That was an RSI, that was an SR flip. And we had an SR flip here that did not hold support, but this one did. Hopefully this will start to turn upwards and the oscillator starts to turn upwards, because this has plenty of room to grow as well. I guess I'll do one more. The last one I'm going to throw in is Doge, just because the STO RSI is falling into the oversold area. This does look like a major resistance, so it can definitely dip down a little more. You might catch a solid buying area for Doge in the high 40s. But all in all, especially with this low volume on these dips, I think that Doge has a pretty good chance to turn around and make a pretty solid move. Looking at it from a fib standpoint, you've already hit the 50 as a support, crossed under, did not even hit the golden ratio, and is holding. There was a resistance at the 38, but hopefully we can break that as an SR flip and make our way back up into the 8-cent range. That would be huge, and it would be an easy impulse move, because you're going to have an RSI break on a major resistance. You're going to have plenty of room on the STO RSI, and the oscillator has a pretty good amount of room to grow as well. Looking at the 4-hour, you can see that the EMAs have still been over the 200, even when it dipped under. The EMAs didn't actually cross except for the 20, which isn't the worst thing in the world. We're hoping that it can find support on this 200 EMA, which is also going to be stacked on the 20. From here, we want to see it make a break at least over the 0.057 range before it can come back down, find support, and begin to make its move upwards. Even on the 4-hour chart, you can see that we're breaking a support potentially and looking for a new area for support to turn this into a resistance. And the STO RSI is also declining, and we'll be having plenty of room to grow. And that about wraps up Crypto Weekly Analysis. Thank you guys for watching the first episode of Crypto Weekly Analysis. Hope to see you guys next week. And if you found any information in this video helpful, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, do all that fun stuff. See you next time.